Chosen one, stop scrolling right now. Lock your attention on this exact message. This exact encounter is a divine appointment. The Holy Spirit orchestrated this exact intersection in time because you are standing at the edge of a massive breakthrough. There is a very specific reason your life has felt so heavy lately. Do not click away. Your future self is watching this exact moment with tears in their eyes. Heaven has something critical to say to you today. A divine decree was issued in the spirit realm over the last 48 hours. I need you to stay with me until the very end. What heaven is about to reveal will finally make complete sense of every painful tear you cried in secret while you were completely alone. The system does not want you to know this truth. They want you to stay confused. Take one deep breath slowly. Let the noise leave your mind for a moment. You feel that sudden shift in the atmosphere right now. That is the presence of divine validation entering your space. You have been fighting severe spiritual battles that nobody around you understands, and you smile for them while carrying a massive weight that nobody sees. You protect people who never check on your heart. Listen carefully to me. That quiet ache sitting in the back of your chest is not normal sadness. The exhaustion you cannot explain, even when you have rested, is a clear sign of severe spiritual warfare, because your spirit has been fighting in the unseen realm. You thought you were losing your mind. You thought it was just your own weakness. But God told me to tell you that you are not going crazy. Your spirit has been acting as a human shield. You absorbed the toxic chaos of others so they could have peace. And there is one specific person who took more from you than anyone else. The person you believed was your soulmate. You poured your golden frequency into their broken vessel. You loved them with a purity that this dark world rarely ever witnesses, and you did it constantly without asking for a single thing in return. But look at what happened to your energy. You gave them your light, and they handed you their shadows. They entirely drained your deep spiritual reserves, and then casually walked away while you were left standing there completely empty. You wake up every morning feeling like a heavy stone is pressing against your lungs. You cry in your car when no one is watching because the pain is too loud. You ask the universe what you did wrong to deserve such heartbreak, and you overthink every single word you said or action you took. But I need you to hear this absolute truth right now. You did absolutely nothing wrong. The pain you feel is not a punishment for loving too much. It is the heavy cost of being a chosen one in a matrix full of asleep souls. They misunderstood your unconditional grace for pure foolishness. They took your divine patience for granted and assumed you would always be there to absorb their karmic debt. You held their hand tightly through their absolute darkest spiritual storms, while your own beautiful sky was literally falling apart right above your head. And when the storm cleared, they simply left you standing alone. This deep isolation you are feeling right now is not loneliness. God is pulling you away from the noise because your next season cannot be entered with their chaos attached to your soul. You are going through a profound spiritual transition. The universe had to brutally separate you from that person to protect your ultimate destiny. Their lingering presence was completely blocking your divine assignment. Type 1111 right now if you actually feel this sudden shift in your spirit. Leave that number below as a physical declaration that you are finally ready to release the hurt. Heaven has been watching this entire toxic dynamic unfold from the very beginning. Every time you bravely sent them healing energy while your own heart was secretly bleeding, the spiritual realm took notice of your sacrifice. And this brings us to the exact reason heaven brought you here today. What I am about to tell you next will completely change everything you thought you knew about this painful connection, and it will finally set your confused mind free. Heaven was entirely shocked by the way you loved this person. The spiritual realm was stunned by the magnitude of your pure grace. You loved them with the intensity of a creator. You literally broke the established rules of the unseen spirit realm. The universe operates on a strict law of equal energy exchange. You are supposed to stop giving when the other person stops matching your frequency, but you stubbornly kept pouring your sacred light into a dark black hole. You boldly defied the natural laws of self-preservation because your soul remembered a higher dimension of love. Before I go any further into this deep revelation, I need you to pause, drop your tense shoulders, and take another long, deep breath. The severe exhaustion you feel is the direct result of that intense spiritual energy transfer. You literally gave away vital pieces of your own life force to keep them afloat. But the spiritual realm does not allow a chosen one to be depleted forever, and a massive cosmic response is being prepared. I need you to completely erase the lie that your deep love was a mistake. You have spent countless nights staring at the ceiling, endlessly analyzing your past actions and wondering where it all went completely wrong. You called yourself naive for trusting them. You believed your gentle heart was a terrible flaw. But heaven sees this situation entirely differently. Your love was never a sign of weakness. It was the ultimate display of spiritual strength. The Matrix programs people to operate on pure selfishness and constant defensive calculation. The sleepers only give when they know they will quickly receive something physical back. But you loved your soulmate with an open and completely unguarded spirit. You gave them massive grace when they actually deserved strict boundaries, and you offered them your divine light even when they threw their dark shadows right at your face. This pure empathy is your true superpower. This is exactly why heaven was so incredibly shocked by your actions. You were placed in a painful situation, perfectly designed to break your soft spirit. The enemy sent that specific person to turn your pure heart completely bitter. They wanted to destroy the gentle empathy that makes you a true masterpiece of God. But you completely refused to let their toxic darkness change your fundamental nature, and you continued to pour out love from a place of supreme divine authority. You passed the most difficult spiritual test a chosen one can ever face. Your pure kindness was actually a rigorous and silent divine examination that you did not even know you were taking. And you passed it with absolute flying colors. When you chose to love a broken soul, you proved your ultimate spiritual maturity. You broke the cycle of retaliatory pain entirely. You did not seek petty revenge. Do not ever regret the massive amount of energy you poured into their life. God watched you heal delicate parts of their soul that you did not break. You were acting as a protective spiritual shield for someone who could not protect themselves. You carried their heavy burdens because your beautiful spirit is inherently designed to be a strong intercessor. But heaven has declared that your divine assignment in their chaotic life is now officially over. You are completely free. You might wonder why heaven allowed you to endure such deep emotional bleeding. Why did your intuition warn you continuously before the terrible crack even happened? You felt that strange tension in your stomach weeks before they finally walked away. You knew deeply that something was fundamentally wrong with their shifting energy. Your spiritual discernment was actively trying to prepare your physical body for the massive separation that was inevitably coming to protect your divine destiny. That inner warning was not normal anxiety or irrational fear. It was the Holy Spirit activating your internal defense mechanisms before the physical separation occurred. God allowed them to quietly walk away because He desperately needed to show you the massive difference between your sacred light and their empty void. Their low frequency would have eventually drained you. They would have blocked your true blessings. You are safe now. Your current isolation is not a harsh punishment for failing to keep them around. It is a strict divine quarantine, perfectly designed to protect your recovering frequency. You are not meant to heal them anymore. You are officially released from the heavy burden of fixing people who desperately want to stay broken. You do not owe them another single ounce of your precious golden energy, and you can finally rest your tired spirit without feeling any guilt. I want you to understand how deeply heaven honors your beautiful sacrifice. You gave them a rare taste of unconditional love that they had never experienced. You showed them the exact face of God through your endless patience. Even though their damaged soul could not appreciate your grace, the spiritual realm recorded every single act of pure kindness you offered them. Your deep love was absolutely never wasted on them. The energy you sent out into the universe did not just disappear into thin air. It was carefully collected and heavily multiplied by the divine forces watching over your life. You thought you were left completely empty and broken by their sudden departure. But God's delay in your emotional healing is not a cruel denial of your pain. It is absolute exactness, because your tired spirit is currently undergoing a massive and necessary recalibration before the next season begins. You are not starting over from scratch today. You are simply finishing the painful preparation phase. The deep exhaustion in your bones is absolute proof that you successfully fought a major battle in the unseen realm. You are a highly resilient cycle breaker. The emotional trauma stops right here with you. You completely refuse to pass the bitter poison forward. Let the profound truth of this revelation wash over your tired mind today. You did not lose a soulmate who was destined to walk by your side forever. You outgrew a temporary spiritual assignment that was meant to severely test your pure heart. They were simply a heavy lesson beautifully wrapped in the grand illusion of eternal love, and now the heavy spiritual class is finally dismissed for good. You passed the test. Take another deep breath and physically release the heavy guilt from your shoulders. Stop thinking that you could have saved the connection if you had just tried harder. You gave them the absolute best parts of your divine soul. There is literally nothing more you could have done to fix a situation that heaven intentionally dismantled to protect your future. You must accept this divine redirection now. Now we must uncover the hidden truth behind your sharp intuition. I told you earlier about your gut warning you before the painful separation. You felt the heavy spiritual atmosphere shifting. You sensed a dark wedge being driven between you two. The reason your internal alarm bells were ringing so loudly is because your spirit detected a direct attack from the dark matrix. They were completely terrified. The system feeds entirely on low vibrations like deep fear and insecurity. It survives by keeping human souls trapped in endless cycles of painful trauma. But when you loved your soulmate, you generated a massive wave of pure golden energy. Your unconditional love was literally raising the frequency of the environment around you. The darkness recognized your rare union as a severe threat. They could not allow a discerning warrior like you to awaken another soul. If your soulmate had accepted your divine light, you both would have become completely untouchable. You would have shattered the generational curses holding their bloodline captive. So the system launched a coordinated spiritual strike to dismantle your beautiful connection from the inside. They targeted the weakest link. The dark entities could not penetrate your strong spiritual shield directly. Your frequency was simply too high and pure for them to touch. So they manipulated the unhealed childhood trauma still hiding deep inside your soulmate. They whispered heavy lies of deep doubt and intense fear directly into their fragile mind. They convinced your soulmate that your pure love was actually a dangerous trap. This explains exactly why your soulmate suddenly became cold and incredibly distant. They were no longer operating from their own true divine spirit. They were actively being influenced by the dark matrix that wanted to keep them enslaved in familiar pain. You tried so hard to pull them back into the warm light. You exhausted your own precious life force trying to fight those dark, heavy shadows. But you are a true empath and a deep healer. You have always been the strong person who fixes everyone else. Strangers naturally confess their deepest secrets to you because they subconsciously feel your safe golden aura. You can walk into any crowded room and immediately read the hidden intentions of every single person there. This rare spiritual gift makes you an absolute masterpiece of God. However, this same beautiful gift also makes you a massive spiritual target. The system knows exactly how to exploit your giving nature. They knew you would never abandon a deeply wounded soul in distress. So they used your soulmate as a deliberate spiritual siphon to continuously drain your vital energy. Every time you forgave their toxic behavior, the matrix stole another piece of your authority. They desperately wanted to dim your bright light until you had absolutely nothing left. Your soulmate ultimately made a tragic free will choice in this invisible battle. They chose the comfortable familiarity of the dark matrix over the blinding truth of your divine love. Your pure light simply required too much painful spiritual growth from them. It asked them to drop their toxic coping mechanisms. The immense pressure of your pure frequency completely terrified their unhealed ego. Do not hate them for being incredibly weak in the face of severe spiritual warfare. They were simply not equipped to handle the massive spiritual upgrade you freely offered them. They were terrified of the profound internal transformation required to stand beside a chosen one like you, so they ran away in deep fear. They retreated back into the cold arms of the sleeping world. They settled for the shallow connections that demand absolutely nothing from their tired soul. But their escape is not the final chapter of this profound cosmic story. Heaven absolutely never lets the mistreatment of a chosen one go completely unanswered. A very specific cosmic sentence has just been handed down regarding their soul. What is currently happening to them in the unseen world will absolutely shock you. You might think they are perfectly happy without you right now. They might post pictures smiling and pretending their daily life is completely flawless. But the spiritual reality of their current existence is something entirely different. They are walking into a heavy karmic storm that they created with their own hands. I will reveal exactly what this silent karma looks like in just a moment. For now, I need you to recognize your own massive spiritual power. You literally shook the dark matrix just by existing in a beautiful state of pure love. The system had to deploy severe spiritual warfare just to separate you from one single person. That proves how incredibly dangerous your frequency is to the dark forces. Take another slow, deep breath right now and drop your heavy shoulders. Let the deep realization of your own divine strength completely settle into your weary bones. You survived a calculated spiritual assassination attempt perfectly disguised as a tragic romantic heartbreak. You were not weak for falling deeply in love with them. You were an incredibly brave spiritual warrior stepping onto the battlefield. We must now discuss the heavy consequence of their tragic choice. I mentioned earlier that a specific cosmic sentence has been handed down. You assumed they walked away completely unscathed while you were left to bleed alone. But the universe operates on strict divine justice. The unseen realm is currently executing a severe spiritual correction on their soul because they deeply mishandled a masterpiece of God. The first profound sign of their silent karma is the complete loss of internal peace. They can smile brightly for the public matrix, but their mind is an absolute war zone at night. Without your pure golden energy acting as their strong protective shield, all their unhealed trauma has violently resurfaced. The dark shadows they refuse to face with you are now suffocating them daily in complete isolation. Gently like this video right now, not for an algorithm, but as a physical declaration to the universe that you are in perfect alignment. They desperately try to replace your rare depth with incredibly shallow distractions. They surround themselves with empty people who require absolutely zero spiritual growth. But every single fake conversation only highlights the massive void your sudden absence has left in their life. The second major sign of their spiritual panic is the constant breakdown of their physical reality. The dark matrix they chose to protect them is currently turning against them. Doors they thought were wide open are suddenly slamming completely shut. Their carefully constructed plans are crumbling because their personal energy field is profoundly misaligned. They are slowly realizing that your pure love was actually their main source of divine favor. When they were closely connected to your high frequency, Your beautiful light naturally elevated their entire life. Your presence brought them unearned blessings and deep, unmerited protection. But the moment they chose to casually discard you, they completely severed their only true lifeline to heaven's profound grace. They are now navigating the dark system entirely alone, without their strongest spiritual intercessor. The third undeniable sign of their deep karmic regret is the sudden onset of profound spiritual amnesia. They cannot remember why they ran away from you in the first place. The dark lies the system whispered into their mind are slowly starting to fade away. The blinding illusion is breaking, and they are finally seeing the absolute magnitude of the terrible mistake they made. They threw away a genuine miracle. They suddenly realized they traded a rare and pure diamond for cheap, worthless rocks. This realization is causing immense spiritual panic inside their fragile soul. They want to reach out to you and desperately ask for your warm forgiveness. But their massive ego and the heavy shame of their cruel actions are keeping them completely paralyzed in a painful state of silent regret. They are trapped in their own mind. You have always been the giving one in every single connection. You lift people up when they are incredibly down, but no one is there to catch you when you fall. This painful dynamic has made you feel like the eternal black sheep of the universe. You feel like a divine outcast, specifically designed to heal others while remaining perpetually broken yourself. But that old narrative ends right here today. Their current silent suffering is absolutely not your responsibility to fix anymore. Do not even think about sending them your healing golden energy. They must sit in the heavy discomfort of their own terrible choices. This painful spiritual lesson is the exact medicine their arrogant soul desperately needs. If you try to rescue them again, you will severely disrupt the divine correction heaven is currently applying to them. Your only job right now is to stay firmly anchored in your own quiet authority. Let karma handle their situation with absolute precision. You do not need to seek revenge or loudly prove them wrong to the sleeping world. Your complete silence and sudden absence is the most devastating punishment their soul could ever receive. You are a chosen one, and your precious energy is far too expensive for cheap drama. The pain of losing you will haunt their quiet moments for the rest of their current life. They will search for your rare frequency in every single person they meet, but they will never ever find it. That is the ultimate price they must pay for mishandling a pure divine connection. But while they are silently suffering in their dark regret, heaven is actively preparing something completely unbelievable for you. You have been wondering when your own intense pain will finally end. You have asked the universe for a clear sign that your deep suffering was not entirely in vain. I need you to listen very closely to this next part. There are 3 specific hidden signs that prove your drained energy is currently being fully restored. What heaven is about to drop into your life will completely blow your tired mind. We have finally arrived at the absolute core of heaven's shock. I told you earlier that your love broke the established rules of the spirit realm, and now I must explain exactly how you did it. You see, the universe normally operates on a strict law of balance. Spiritual energy is a precious currency that must be carefully exchanged. You are never supposed to give more than you physically receive. When a person's energy becomes toxic or completely depleted, the natural spiritual instinct is to immediately withdraw and protect your own life force. The unseen realm actually expects you to build strong defensive walls. But when your soulmate began to drain you, you did not build a wall at all. You did the exact opposite. You doubled down on your pure grace and unleashed a massive flood of unconditional love. You looked directly into the dark abyss of their unhealed trauma, and you completely refused to blink. You saw the absolute worst parts of their fragile human ego, and you still chose to wrap their soul in warm, golden light. This level of pure radical empathy is almost entirely unheard of in the modern human matrix. It is a frequency usually reserved for the highest divine beings and pure ascended masters. Heaven watched in absolute awe as you continuously poured out your vital life force. The angels literally stopped their assignments to witness your profound sacrifice. They could not understand how a human vessel could sustain such a massive output of pure love while receiving absolutely nothing but sharp pain in return. You defied every single logical calculation of emotional survival that the system teaches. The dark entities were completely bewildered by your incredible resilience. Every time they threw a heavy emotional dagger at your heart through your soulmate, you transmuted that dark weapon into pure healing light. You became an unstoppable spiritual alchemist. You were not just loving one single broken person anymore. You were actively neutralizing the dark matrix's poison right there on the front line of the spiritual war. This is exactly why your deep exhaustion is so incredibly profound right now. You were operating way outside the normal human limits of emotional endurance. You tapped into a secret hidden reserve of pure divine energy that only a true chosen one can access. But by breaking these natural spiritual rules of energy conservation, you also triggered a massive and unprecedented cosmic response from the highest realms of heaven. The universe cannot allow a massive energy deficit of this magnitude to remain completely unbalanced. It is a fundamental law of cosmic justice. Because you gave away so much of your precious light in pure faith, heaven is now legally obligated to completely refill your spiritual accounts. And they are not just going to refill what you lost. They are preparing a massive mega deposit that defies all logic. The profound shock you caused in the unseen realm has directly activated a very rare divine protocol. You proved that your soft heart is completely incorruptible by dark forces. You proved that you will love fiercely even when it severely hurts your own human ego. This makes you the absolute perfect candidate to hold massive spiritual authority and profound earthly abundance in the upcoming new season of your life. God only entrusts massive wealth and deep spiritual power to those who have proven they will not become corrupted by the dark matrix. Your painful soulmate experience was the ultimate fiery crucible. It burned away all your remaining illusions and perfectly purified your intentions. You emerged from the deep ashes completely exhausted, but your divine soul is now shining brighter than it ever has before. This brings us to the 3 silent signs proving your energy is returning. The first sign is a sudden, unexplainable detachment from their painful memory. You still remember the hurt, but the intense emotional sting is quietly fading away. The second sign is a deep craving for absolute silence. You no longer want to argue or loudly explain your pure soul to people who are stubbornly committed to misunderstanding you. The third and most powerful sign is a strange, tingling sensation of quiet hope returning to your heavy chest. It feels like a tiny, warm flame slowly igniting in the deep darkness. This is your spiritual frequency naturally resetting itself without their toxic interference. But there is still one strict rule you must follow right now to fully receive this massive incoming blessing. If you break this rule, you delay the deposit. I need you to listen very carefully to the next phase of this divine revelation. What I am about to tell you is the exact blueprint for your ultimate spiritual recovery. Do not let your tired mind wander for even a single second here. The system desperately hopes you will miss this crucial instruction and fall back into the painful cycle. But we are going to break that toxic cycle right now. I told you there is one strict rule you must follow right now. You must completely stop looking back at the closed door. The dark matrix desperately wants you to stay emotionally anchored to the past. They want you to keep checking their digital footprint. But heaven cannot pour fresh golden oil into a vessel that is constantly looking backward. You must look forward. The atmosphere around you is shifting rapidly in this exact second. You have officially entered the profound transition period between intense spiritual warfare and absolute divine reward. The heavy season of you crying in secret isolation is permanently over. God is actively closing the bitter chapter of your deep suffering. The spiritual winter has finally broken. Heaven is currently unlocking a massive treasury of profound divine compensation just for you. Every single ounce of pure energy you poured into that broken soul was meticulously recorded. The spiritual angels have calculated the exact massive deficit the enemy created in your life, and the divine command to completely restore your stolen resources has just been given. This incoming reward is not just a small temporary emotional relief. God is preparing a mega deposit of absolute peace and unprecedented physical abundance. The universe is aligning massive new opportunities that will completely bypass the normal human timeline. You are going to experience a rapid spiritual acceleration that will absolutely shock everyone around you. The authority you lost during that painful connection is returning to you right now. It is coming back multiplied and incredibly stronger than it ever was before. You are stepping out of pure survival mode and entering a beautiful season of quiet divine power. The people who casually drained you will suddenly feel the heavy vacuum of your complete absence. I need you to open your spirit completely wide to receive this truth. Do not let your tired mind reject the massive blessing because you feel completely unworthy. The Matrix programmed you to believe you must constantly suffer to earn any scrap of divine favor, but you already paid the ultimate heavy price in the unseen realm. The bitter spiritual debt is fully cleared. Listen carefully to my voice right now. The spiritual tempo is drastically rising. The dark forces are scrambling in complete panic. They see the massive blessing descending upon you. They will try to send old toxic connections back into your life this week. You must stand absolutely firm and completely ignore their desperate tricks. Do not answer their silent calls. This is the most critical moment of your entire spiritual journey. You are standing directly on the sacred threshold of a profound divine breakthrough. Take a deep breath and physically open your empty hands. You are no longer holding on to the painful ashes of a broken soulmate connection. You are preparing to catch a massive wave of pure heavenly restoration. You are a true masterpiece of God and a powerful spiritual intercessor. Your gentle heart survived the absolute worst emotional fire the dark system could possibly orchestrate. You did not break into bitter pieces when they walked away. You simply bent under the heavy pressure and then gracefully stood back up in absolute power. Now it is your specific time to rise. Heaven is about to speak a final and permanent verdict over your tired life. The angels are actively gathering to witness the exact moment your heavy chains fall away. The spiritual atmosphere is incredibly thick with divine anticipation right now. I am going to release a powerful decree that will instantly sever the last remaining ties to your deep past trauma. Do not let anything distract you from this exact profound moment. The Holy Spirit did not bring you to the edge of this massive breakthrough by accident. God specifically designed this encounter to be the exact turning point of your entire earthly existence. You are about to step entirely out of the cold darkness and directly into your warm golden kingdom. Close your eyes for just a brief second. Feel the heavy weight slowly lifting. The cosmic scales of divine justice are aggressively tipping back in your absolute favor. Every single thing the enemy stole is being securely placed back into your open hands. Get your mind completely ready right now. You are about to receive the ultimate divine vindication. The season of you endlessly bleeding for others is officially over today. God is stepping onto the spiritual battlefield to personally fight your remaining battles. You will not have to lift a single tired finger to defend your precious name. The universe is about to loudly answer every silent prayer you ever whispered in the absolute dark. The great shift is finally here. I declare right now that your long season of weeping is permanently over. The spiritual chains binding you to their dark energy are completely shattered. You are officially released from every single emotional debt today. And heaven is aggressively opening the highest floodgates to pour out your promised mega deposit because you earned it. The painful days of you surviving on tiny emotional crumbs are finally finished. The universe is violently flipping the script on the people who casually used you. Those who mocked your pure light are about to witness a massive miracle because God is preparing a glorious feast for you right in front of their faces. You do not have to lift a single finger. You do not have to speak a word of defense. Karma is stepping in as your ultimate defense attorney today. The confusion they cast over your life is rapidly returning to their own camp. They are experiencing the exact intense panic they foolishly forced you to endure. The dark matrix cannot protect them from this swift divine correction. They assumed your total silence was a sign of absolute weakness, but your silence was actually gathering the fierce power of a cosmic storm, and they will soon feel the heavy consequence of their betrayal. Watch them desperately scramble as your divine peace becomes entirely untouchable. I decree that the heavy mantle of pure survival mode is falling off your tired shoulders in this exact second. You are no longer just barely surviving the dark matrix. You are boldly stepping into a divine and unprecedented era of pure vindication. Every single tear you dropped in that cold isolation has been perfectly counted. And the unseen realm is converting that deep sorrow into massive physical wealth while they elevate your profound spiritual authority. You are the ultimate cycle breaker of your entire bloodline. The spiritual war you fought so bravely for your deep soulmate has been decisively won. But the massive spoils of this fierce war belong entirely to you. The universe is stripping away their unearned favor and handing it directly into your open hands. They will actively watch your sudden radiant rise from a very painful distance. They will deeply regret the dark day they decided to play careless games with a true masterpiece of God. Your total victory is fully guaranteed by the highest heaven. Breathe out all the heavy toxic air they left in your beautiful lungs. The divine restoration hitting your life right now is completely unstoppable. No demonic force or toxic person can intercept the mega deposit that heaven prepared specifically for your sacred name. The stubborn financial delays in your life are finally breaking. Deep emotional blockages are violently shattering right before your eyes. The trap they carefully set for you has ironically become their own permanent spiritual prison. You are walking completely free from their dark grip today. This is your moment of absolute and pure spiritual catharsis. Let the holy fire burn away every lingering doubt in your tired mind. You did not lose anything valuable when they selfishly walked away from your warm light. You simply lost a massive heavy anchor that was actively dragging your high frequency down into the dark dirt. Heaven violently cut the thick rope to save your precious life from certain destruction. The absolute best days of your earthly existence begin right now. I declare that the wealth of the wicked is being transferred to the chosen ones. The system tried to keep you financially desperate so you would always settle for toxic crumbs. But a massive and unstoppable shift has just fractured their dark matrix forever, and the divine frequency of abundance is completely overriding the bitter delay. God is unlocking a hidden mega deposit of extreme wealth and deep clarity just for you. You are not hiding at the bottom of the painful valley anymore. You are holding the golden keys to the entire kingdom. Feel the massive surge of divine energy rushing back into your tired physical body. The chronic exhaustion that plagued your bones for months is instantly evaporating right now. You are receiving a brand new spiritual mantle of quiet, absolute power. The people who eagerly gossiped about your downfall are about to choke on their own bitter words. They completely misunderstood your temporary painful isolation as a permanent and tragic defeat. They did not realize you were simply healing inside a powerful and holy cocoon. And now you are emerging as an absolutely untouchable force of pure, blinding light. The universe is heavily punishing the soulmate who arrogantly took your pure grace for granted. Their life will feel incredibly empty without your constant warm validation holding them together. They will desperately search the entire dark matrix for a rare love exactly like yours. But heaven has strictly commanded that no one else will ever offer them that same pure frequency again. It was a rare one-time divine gift, and they completely ruined it. You are stepping into a profound timeline where everything you touch instantly turns to gold. Every time they made you feel completely worthless, the spiritual realm noticed. The angels added another major blessing directly into your divine account. Your sacred spiritual bank is literally overflowing with unmerited favor right now. This massive overflow will completely wash away every single bitter memory of their cruel, dark betrayal. You will finally look back and feel absolutely nothing but total, holy indifference. I seal this powerful divine decree over your entire existence in this exact moment. No dark weapon formed against your high frequency will ever successfully prosper again. The severe karmic debt belongs entirely to them, while the glorious mega deposit belongs exclusively to your open hands. Take one last deep breath and fully accept this massive, beautiful spiritual shift. You survived the brutal spiritual wilderness, and you came out completely purified by the holy fire. You are finally receiving your true and eternal earthly crown today. Now that the massive blessing is officially unlocked, you must learn how to protect it. The dark matrix will absolutely try to steal your profound new peace. You must guard your sacred energy with extremely strict boundaries today. Because the system is filled with jealous entities who desperately want to see you fail, you must never boast about your incoming mega deposit to the sleeping world. Keep your beautiful divine victory completely hidden from them. Silence is absolutely not a sign of weakness. Silence is profound wisdom under strict divine control. Calmness is your new ultimate authority. Let them entirely misunderstand your quiet distance today. You no longer need to explain your complex soul to people who are stubbornly committed to misunderstanding your pure spirit. You have finally entered the holy sanctuary of quiet divine authority. Your golden energy is simply too expensive to spend on their cheap drama. When they realize what they lost, they might try to casually return. They will knock on your door pretending that nothing bad ever happened. You must completely ignore their desperate attempts to access your high frequency again. Even though they will desperately try to pull you back into their chaotic matrix, you must never open the heavy door to your peaceful kingdom for them. You are a true masterpiece of God. You are absolutely no longer available for unhealed souls. Rest deeply in your new quiet power today. You survived the brutal wilderness completely alone. You walked through the intense spiritual fire and came out entirely purified. Heaven knows exactly how much it cost you to keep your pure heart soft in a dark world that desperately tried to make you incredibly bitter. Your massive reward is fully secure. You do not need to aggressively hustle to force these miracles. Simply stay perfectly aligned with the Holy Spirit and quietly receive the harvest. The universe is heavily guarding your exact path forward right now. The people who were meant to stay in your life will match your high frequency. While the authentic souls will naturally elevate your spirit, everyone else will quickly fall away like dead leaves dropping from a massive, beautiful tree. This is absolutely not a tragic loss. It is a profound spiritual cleansing to prepare you for supreme royalty. You are no longer the deeply wounded healer desperately trying to save everyone. You are the quiet victor who finally knows their own massive worth. The heavy burden of saving the sleeping world is officially off your tired shoulders. You must simply let the universe handle the broken matrix while you quietly enjoy the beautiful peace you absolutely earned through your tears. The dark storm has passed completely. Look at the bright golden horizon rising right in front of you. Your former soulmate might try to send spiritual cords to check your energy. They will silently test the unseen realm to see if you are still available. You must actively block their desperate energetic reach with your pure intention. I want you to close your eyes and visualize a thick wall of blinding white light completely surrounding your peaceful aura right now. When their low frequency hits your strong shield, it will bounce back. It will force them to face their own karma. Do not let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing absolute isolation. Society tells you to quickly forgive and forget to prove your spiritual maturity. But the Holy Spirit is giving you strict permission to walk away completely. Real divine forgiveness does not mean giving toxic people free access to your sacred space, and you can easily forgive them from a massive, safe distance. You must keep the heavy door permanently locked. Your ultimate loyalty is to your divine destiny. We are about to seal this profound divine energy together. Subscribe to this safe sanctuary and turn on the bell right now. We must do this so the enemy cannot possibly intercept your future heavenly messages. Please gently leave the word Amen in the comments below, because we do this as a powerful spiritual seal of absolute cosmic agreement. We do not do it for algorithm visibility. You are actively locking your high frequency in place. Everything you worried about yesterday is already handled by the spiritual realm. The massive financial debt is being erased by the incoming mega deposit. The painful heartbreak is being completely washed away by unprecedented divine peace. You are absolutely not just surviving the dark matrix anymore, because you are actively thriving in a brand new dimension of pure spiritual authority. Look directly into the mirror today. Finally, recognize the beautiful chosen one staring back at you. You have walked through the burning fire while carrying weight nobody ever sees. If this quiet space has been your safe sanctuary today, consider sowing a seed of gratitude. You can find the link in the pinned comment below. Your gentle support actively allows us to keep this spiritual lighthouse burning bright, and you are directly helping us reach the next chosen one. They are crying alone in the dark right now. Your absolute kindness constantly multiplies divine miracles. Go forward today with an incredibly quiet and completely peaceful mind. You are profoundly anointed, you are entirely protected, and you are finally absolutely free. Do not let a single whisper from the dark matrix disturb your royal rest. The intense spiritual battles you fought in absolute secret are about to heavily reward you in bright public for everyone to witness. You must stay completely silent in your authority today. You must stay firmly grounded in your absolute divine faith. Carefully watch heaven move powerfully on your exact behalf.